Welcome back to Stamps Old World UK. Today we are taking a close look at one of the most recognizable and fascinating modern United States stamps, the famous $1 Statue of Freedom stamp. At first glance, many people think this is just an ordinary high-value definitive stamp. But collectors know that every stamp has a story, and sometimes even a common-looking stamp can have surprising value depending on its condition, printing variety, and postal history. In today's video, we will explore the complete history of this beautiful stamp, its design, why it was issued, how much it is worth in today's stamp market, what collectors are paying, and what factors can increase or decrease its value. If you enjoy learning about rare stamps, hidden treasures, and stamp collecting, make sure you subscribe to Stamps Old World UK because every week we explore stamps from around the world and discover their history and market prices. The stamp shown here is the United States $1 definitive stamp featuring the Statue of Freedom. This design has become one of the most iconic high-value American definitive stamps. The Statue of Freedom is the bronze statue that stands on top of the dome of the United States Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Unlike the Statue of Liberty, which welcomes visitors to America, the Statue of Freedom represents liberty, democracy, and the strength of the American nation. This beautiful engraving captures the statue wearing a feathered helmet surrounded by stars and laurel leaves, creating an elegant and patriotic design that collectors admire. This stamp was issued as part of the Great Americans and later definitive series used primarily for high-value postage. During the time these stamps were in circulation, a $1 denomination was mainly used for large envelopes, international mail, heavy parcels, registered mail, and business correspondence. Since most everyday letters required much lower postage, relatively fewer $1 stamps were used by ordinary people, making genuinely commercial postal covers with this stamp more interesting to collectors today. One of the reasons collectors appreciate this stamp is its detailed engraving. Before modern digital printing became common, many United States stamps were produced using finely engraved printing techniques that created incredibly sharp lines and intricate artwork. Looking closely under magnification, you can see the detailed facial features, the flowing hair, the stars above the head, and the beautifully engraved laurel leaves. These details demonstrate the remarkable craftsmanship of American stamp engraving during the 20th century. Now, let us discuss the current market value, because this is what many collectors and viewers are most interested in. If you have a used copy of this $1 Statue of Freedom stamp with an ordinary cancellation and average condition, the value is generally between $1 and $5 in today's collector market. Since millions of these stamps were printed, most used examples remain affordable for collectors who are building complete United States collections. A mint never hinged example, in fresh condition with original gum, is usually worth between $5 and $15. Depending on centering, gum quality, and overall appearance. Collectors always pay more for stamps with bright color, sharp perforations, and no damage. A perfectly centered stamp with flawless gum can command a noticeable premium compared to an average copy if the stamp is professionally graded and receives a very high numerical grade such as Superb 98 or Gem 100. The market value can increase significantly. High-grade modern United States stamps are becoming increasingly popular because collectors compete for the finest known examples. Some professionally graded copies have sold for several times their standard catalog value due to exceptional centering and outstanding preservation. However, the biggest surprises usually come from unusual varieties. If this stamp has a major printing error, missing color, inverted design element, dramatic misperforation, double impression, or another verified production mistake, its value can increase from only a few dollars to hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the rarity of the error. Genuine printing errors are carefully authenticated by expert organizations before collectors invest significant amounts of money. Postal history collectors also search for covers bearing this stamp. An ordinary used stamp may be worth only a few dollars, but a commercial cover showing the correct postal rate, especially for international mail, registered mail, express services, or military mail, may sell for considerably more because it tells the story of how the stamp was actually used in postal service. Covers with clear cancellation dates and attractive postmarks are often much more desirable than loose used stamps. Condition remains one of the most important factors in determining value. A stamp with missing perforations, heavy creases, tears, stains, fading, thin spots, or damaged gum will usually sell for much less than a well-preserved example. Collectors always examine centering, perforations, freshness, gum condition, cancellation quality, and overall eye appeal before deciding how much they are willing to pay. Many beginners believe that every old stamp is automatically valuable, but this is one of the biggest misconceptions in stamp collecting. Age alone does not determine value. A stamp that is over 50 years old may still be worth only a few dollars if millions were printed, and many survive today. On the other hand, a much newer stamp with a rare printing error or very limited production may be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Rarity, demand, condition, and authenticity together determine market value. If you discover this $1 Statue of Freedom stamp in an old family collection, take a few minutes to inspect it carefully. Look for unusual perforations, shifted printing, missing colors, or any features that appear different from standard examples. Compare it with certified reference images and consult a reputable stamp dealer or expert if you believe you have found something unusual. Never attempt to repair or clean an old stamp because even small alterations can greatly reduce its value. Another important consideration is whether the stamp has been hinged. Mint never hinged examples are generally worth more than lightly hinged examples because collectors prefer stamps with completely original gum. Proper storage is equally important. Keep stamps in archival quality stockbooks or stamp albums away from direct sunlight, humidity, dust, and extreme temperatures. Good storage preserves both beauty and value for future generations. The worldwide market for United States stamps continues to attract collectors from many countries. American classic and modern issues remain among the most actively collected stamps in the world, while common examples of this $1 stamp remain affordable. Exceptional copies, certified high-grade examples, scarce postal history, and genuine printing varieties continue to attract strong interest whenever they appear at auctions. Stamp collecting is more than simply buying and selling. Every stamp represents a piece of history. This $1 Statue of Freedom stamp reflects American culture, government, art, engraving, postal services, and everyday communication during the period in which it was used. Holding this small piece of paper is like holding a miniature work of art that traveled through the postal system carrying letters, documents, and stories across cities and continents for collectors who enjoy building complete definitive series. This stamp is an essential addition. Completing an entire series provides a better understanding of changing postal rates, printing technology, and design evolution over the years. Many experienced collectors recommend studying definitive issues because they often contain fascinating varieties that are overlooked by casual collectors before purchasing expensive examples. Always buy from trusted stamp dealers or established auction houses that provide accurate descriptions and, when appropriate, certificates of authenticity. Authentication is especially important for rare varieties and high-value stamps because the market rewards genuine rarity while avoiding altered or counterfeit material. As of today's collector market, most standard used examples of the $1 Statue of Freedom stamp typically sell for around $1 to $5. Mint never hinged examples generally range from $5 to $15. Fine postal history covers can range from $20 to over $100 depending on destination, postal usage, and rarity. Certified high-grade examples or verified printing errors can sell for several $100s or, in exceptional cases, even more depending on collector demand and auction competition. Actual prices always vary based on condition, certification, and current market demand. Next up, the $1 Postage Due stamp, why it was issued. How it was used by the United States Postal Service. What makes certain examples more valuable than others, and most importantly, what collectors are paying for this stamp in today's market. Whether you are a beginner, an experienced collector, or someone who has recently discovered an old stamp collection, this video will help you understand the true value and significance of this remarkable American stamp. The $1 Postage Due stamp is one of the best-known high-value postage due issues produced by the United States. Unlike ordinary postage stamps that prepaid the cost of mailing a letter or parcel, postage due stamps served a completely different purpose. They were never intended for customers to purchase and place on outgoing mail. Instead, they were used by postal employees to indicate the amount of postage that still needed to be collected from the recipient when insufficient postage had been paid by the sender. This system helped ensure that the Postal Service recovered the correct mailing charges while providing an organized method for recording unpaid postage. The bold design of this stamp makes it instantly recognizable. Printed in a rich red color, the large words "Postage Due" dominate the center of the stamp, while the denomination of $1 appears prominently at both the top and bottom. The simple yet elegant layout reflects the practical purpose of the stamp. Unlike commemorative issues that celebrate famous people or historic events, postage due stamps were designed for efficiency and easy recognition by postal clerks. Handling thousands of pieces of mail every day, this $1 denomination was especially important because it represented a large amount of money. During the period when these stamps were in use, most ordinary letters required only a few cents in postage, so a $1 postage due charge was usually associated with heavy parcels, commercial shipments, international mail, or large quantities of unpaid postage. Because of this, genuinely used examples often have interesting postal histories that attract collectors. One of the most fascinating aspects of postage due stamps is that many people have never seen one before. Unlike standard postage stamps, they were handled almost exclusively by postal employees. As a result, many surviving examples come from post office archives, dealer stocks, or specialized collections. Postal history enthusiasts often search for complete envelopes or parcels that still have these stamps attached, because they provide evidence of how the postal system operated decades ago. Now let us discuss the market value of this $1 postage due stamp in today's collector market. This is the question that many collectors ask when they discover one in an old album or inherited collection. The answer depends on several important factors, including the exact issue, watermark, perforation type, condition, whether the stamp is mint or used, and whether it remains attached to its original postal cover. A standard used example with an ordinary cancellation and average condition generally sells for between $5 and $25 in today's market. The value depends greatly on the clarity of the cancellation, the centering of the design, and the overall appearance of the stamp. Better centered copies with attractive postmarks usually command stronger prices. A mint example with original gum is generally worth between $20 and $75, depending on its condition and the specific printing. Mint never-hinged examples that retain perfect original gum without any hinge marks are usually the most desirable and often sell at the upper end of the price range or even higher if exceptionally well preserved. Collectors pay special attention to centering because well-centered examples are much more difficult to find than many beginners realize. A perfectly centered stamp with balanced margins on all sides is considered far more attractive than one with uneven borders. Professional grading services may assign numerical grades to exceptional examples, and high-grade certified copies can sell for several $100s when collectors compete for the finest known examples. One of the most exciting possibilities is discovering a rare printing variety. Some postage due stamps exist with different perforations, watermarks, shades of color, paper types, or printing errors. A genuine error such as an inverted overprint, dramatic misperforation, missing impression, or other verified production mistake can dramatically increase the value. Rare certified varieties have sold for hundreds and, in exceptional cases, thousands of dollars at major stamp auctions. Perhaps the greatest value comes from complete postal history. An original envelope or parcel wrapper showing the $1 postage due stamp used exactly as intended is often much more valuable than a single loose stamp. Collectors appreciate these covers because they tell the complete story of the unpaid postage, the route of the mail, and the operation of the postal service at that time. Covers with clear dates, unusual destinations, registered mail markings, or scarce postal routes are especially desirable. Condition remains one of the most important factors affecting value. Collectors look carefully for sharp perforations, bright color, clean paper, and the absence of tears, creases, stains, thinning, or repairs. Even a small fault can reduce the value significantly. While an attractive example with excellent eye appeal can command a premium, many people believe that every old stamp is extremely valuable simply because of its age. In reality, age alone does not determine value. Some stamps printed over 100 years ago remain relatively affordable because millions were produced and many survive today. At the same time, certain scarce varieties, limited printings, or rare postal usages may be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The true value depends on rarity, collector demand, condition, authenticity, and historical importance. If you own this $1 postage due stamp, examine it carefully before assuming its value. Compare the perforations, paper, watermark, and printing characteristics with specialized stamp catalogs. Store the stamp properly in acid-free albums or archival stock books to protect it from humidity, sunlight, dust, and physical damage. Proper storage helps preserve both beauty and long-term value. As of today's collector market, a common used example of the $1 postage due stamp generally sells for around $5 to $25. Mint examples usually range from $20 to $75. Fine mint, never hinged copies can sell for even more depending on centering and freshness. Complete commercial covers with genuine postal usage often range from $50 to several $100s depending on rarity, destination, and postal history. Certified high-grade examples and genuine printing errors may achieve prices well above several $100s. While the rarest varieties can reach into the thousands of dollars when offered at major international stamp auctions, the $1 postage due stamp represents much more than a simple piece of paper. It is a reminder of how postal systems once handled unpaid mail, balanced accounting records, and maintained efficient communication across the nation. Every surviving example preserves a small but important chapter of American postal history, making it an exciting addition to any collection. Next up, the famous $1 Migratory Bird Hunting stamp, better known around the world as the duck stamp. This beautiful blue stamp is much more than just a collectible piece of paper. It represents wildlife conservation, hunting history, environmental protection, and one of the most successful conservation programs ever created. In today's video, we will uncover the fascinating history of this iconic stamp, explain why it was issued, explore its beautiful design, discuss what makes certain examples valuable, and most importantly, reveal its current market value in today's stamp collecting world. Whether you are a beginner collector, an experienced philatelist, or someone who recently inherited an old stamp collection, this video will help you understand why this stamp continues to attract collectors across the globe. If you enjoy learning about rare stamps, hidden treasures, postal history, and today's market prices, be sure to subscribe to Stamps Old World UK for more exciting stamp discoveries. From around the world, the stamp featured in today's video is the United States Department of Agriculture $1 Migratory Bird Hunting stamp. The design shows two beautiful ducks flying above a marshland, creating one of the most recognizable wildlife stamp designs in American history. Across the top of the stamp appears the inscription U.S. Department of Agriculture, while the center contains the words Migratory Bird Hunting stamp printed in a striking blue color. This stamp combines artistic beauty with an important conservation mission. Unlike ordinary postage stamps, this is not a postage stamp at all. It is a revenue stamp commonly known as a duck stamp. The primary purpose of this stamp was to serve as a hunting license for waterfowl hunters in the United States. Every hunter who wished to legally hunt migratory waterfowl was required by law to purchase one of these stamps each year. The revenue collected from duck stamp sales was used to purchase and protect wetlands, wildlife habitats, and breeding grounds for ducks, geese, and many other species of birds. This conservation program became one of the greatest environmental success stories in the world. Since the first duck stamp was issued in 1934, millions of acres of wetlands have been preserved using funds generated through the sale of these stamps. These protected lands now provide habitat not only for migratory birds but also for countless species of fish, mammals, reptiles, and other wildlife. Even people who never hunt have purchased duck stamps simply to support wildlife conservation and enjoy the beautiful artwork featured on each annual issue. The $1 denomination shown on this stamp was a significant amount during its period of use. At that time, $1 represented a meaningful investment, demonstrating the government's commitment to funding conservation through user-supported programs. Every stamp sold directly contributed to protecting America's natural environment, making each purchase an investment in future generations. One feature that immediately catches the eye is the beautiful engraving. The flying ducks appear full of movement and life, while the surrounding marshland creates a peaceful natural setting. Collectors admire the exceptional detail found in the feathers, wings, water grasses, and background scenery. The rich blue ink gives the design an elegant appearance that remains attractive nearly a century after its original release. Another interesting detail is the printed wording "void after." June 30th, 1935. This clearly indicates that the stamp was valid only during a specific hunting season. Every year, a new duck stamp design was issued, requiring hunters to purchase a fresh stamp for the following season. This annual renewal has resulted in one of the longest-running collectible stamp series in the United States. Now let us discuss what this stamp is worth in today's collector market. Many people discovered duck stamps in inherited collections or old family albums and wonder whether they own something valuable. The answer depends on several important factors, including the year of issue, condition, whether the stamp is mint or used, whether it bears a hunter's signature, and whether it has been professionally authenticated. A common used example with an ordinary cancellation or signature generally sells for between $25 and $100, depending on its condition and issue year. Used duck stamps often contain the original owner's signature across the front because federal regulations required hunters to sign their stamps before using them, while unsigned mint examples are usually preferred by collectors. Signed examples remain historically important because they represent genuine hunting use. A mint never-hinged example with original gum can be worth between $100 and $300 for many common issues, although earlier editions and scarcer printings often sell for much more. Collectors place a premium on stamps with bright color, perfect perforations, fresh gum, and excellent centering. Some early duck stamps are among the most valuable revenue stamps issued by the United States. Rare issues in exceptional condition have sold for thousands of dollars, especially when professionally graded. High-grade certified examples with superb centering are highly sought after by serious collectors and investors who compete for the finest known copies. Perhaps the most valuable examples are complete licenses, artist-signed editions, plate blocks, or stamps still attached to original hunting permits. These items provide historical context and often command significantly higher prices than individual loose stamps. Plate blocks showing the original margins and plate numbers are especially popular with specialized collectors. Condition remains one of the most important factors affecting value. Collectors carefully inspect every stamp for sharp perforations, clean paper, vivid color, original gum, and freedom from creases, tears, stains, fading, thinning, or repairs. Even minor imperfections can reduce value, while flawless examples often achieve premium auction prices. One exciting area of collecting involves printing varieties. Certain duck stamps exist with different papers, gum varieties, printing shifts, color variations, or other production differences. Genuine printing errors authenticated by recognized experts can dramatically increase market value. These rare varieties are highly prized because they combine scarcity with historical importance. Many beginning collectors mistakenly believe every duck stamp is extremely valuable simply because it is old. While some issues are indeed rare and expensive, others remain relatively affordable due to larger print runs and greater survival rates. The true value depends on rarity, demand, condition, certification, and collector interest rather than age alone. If you discover one of these stamps in an old collection, avoid removing it from an original license or document. Complete documents often carry greater historical and financial value than individual stamps separated from their original context. Store your duck stamps in acid-free albums or archival quality holders to protect them from moisture, sunlight, dust, and physical damage. The worldwide market for duck stamps continues to grow because these stamps appeal to several different collecting communities. Traditional stamp collectors appreciate their printing quality and history. Wildlife enthusiasts admire the detailed artwork. Hunters value their sporting heritage. Conservation supporters recognize the important environmental role these stamps have played in protecting millions of acres of wetlands across North America. As of today's collector market, many common used $1 duck stamps typically sell between $25 and $100 depending on their condition and issue. Mint examples generally range from $100 to $300 for more common issues. Better preserved examples with exceptional centering often sell for considerably higher prices. Scarce early issues, certified high-grade copies, rare printing varieties, artist-signed editions, plate blocks, and historically significant examples may sell for several $100, several $1,000, or even much more when offered at major stamp auctions. Market values continue to change depending on collector demand, rarity, and the overall condition of each individual stamp. The $1 Migratory Bird Hunting stamp is much more than a collectible. It represents one of the greatest partnerships between conservation and government in history. Every stamp sold helped preserve wetlands that continue to provide homes for wildlife nearly a century later. Few collectibles can claim to have made such a lasting impact on the natural world while also becoming treasured works of miniature art. Thank you for watching Stamps Old World UK. I hope you enjoyed learning about the fascinating history, beautiful design, conservation legacy, and current market value of the famous United States $1 duck stamp. If you have this stamp in your collection, let us know in the comments whether your example is mint, used, signed, or still attached to its original hunting license. Every collection tells a unique story, and your discoveries may inspire fellow collectors around the world. Please like this video, subscribe to Stamps Old World UK, and turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming videos covering rare stamps, valuable collections, auction highlights, hidden treasures, postal history, revenue stamps, and fascinating collectibles from every corner of the world. Until next time, happy collecting, keep preserving history one stamp at a time, and may your next stamp discovery become the rare treasure every collector hopes to find.